because you're so pragmatic, I'm just going to ask you a softball. How are we feeling about pregame meals at Memorial Stadium so far?
For the media,
Yeah.
we had hot dogs and pulled pork sandwiches last week. That was
Yep.
fine. I was down at Hopcat in the rail yard watching the first half of the Texas Tech Utah game and the Maryland Wisconsin game, and with Max Olson, and passed up the
I
opportunity.
knew I saw him. It was from afar, though. Did he have on the striped blue the polo?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So I saw him out of my periphery, and it
I
was like,
sat next to him at the whole game. I don't know what he was wearing.
but I'm weird, though. I used to want to be a profiler, so I look at that kind of stuff, and I wear binoculars. Do you see this, Mitch? I'm like looking. No, I'm like, oh my God, it's Max in town. I think Max is in town. But
Max is in town.
he
Max
was
lives
so
in
far
town,
away,
but
I
was,
couldn't, I didn't want to run down there and say hi.
Oh yeah, you should have. He was there at the game.
Oh, if it was him.
He'll be at Penn State. I mean, I'm just out here promoting ESPN's content. He's going to be at Penn State, Oregon.
Well, he's
Oregon
a former. You guys used to be at the same establishment.
Oh, we've been at multiple establishments.
Yeah, both.
Together.
Yeah,
3 of them actually, if you include the World Herald during Max's time as a student. Yeah, he's going out to Happy Valley. I'm a little bit jealous of that. It's going to be a great environment there on Saturday night. But he was there, and so we went to Hopcat and watched some ball, and I passed on the opportunity to eat some food there because I was like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to have a hot dog and a Fairbury dog and a little pulled. I didn't have a pulled pork sandwich. I put a little bit of the pulled pork on top of my hot dog.
I like that. Oh wait,
Yeah.
aren't you kind of a basic guy? Is that were you stepping out a little?
No.
That was just your breakfast pizza take.
I don't like breakfast pizza, so.
He's like, I want my toppings.
Food's been fine. The food's been fine, and I'm not complaining about it because the cost is good. I haven't experienced the concessions, whatever the nightmare is that's going on down there.
I think it's getting better, though. I do think I think it's getting better.
Good.
Let me ask you something, and I'll let you land the plane how you will. Knowing what you know, I mean, right now, and you're starting a program tomorrow. Would you take Mark D'Antonio, Kalen DeBoer, Deion Sanders, or Curt Cignetti?
Like in their current state?
Everything you currently know.
Are you talking about like Mark D'Antonio from 2011?
Like Michigan? I'm talking about the guy that had put Michigan State back on the map. Yeah, that guy.
All right, so not like Mark D'Antonio in 2025. If I'm starting a program, I'd probably take. Well, for me, it's between. I don't want small sample size. I'd probably take DeBoer. How about that?
Okay, it's fine. There was not going to be a wrong answer because my next question.
Well, Deion's the wrong answer, but that's fine.
Colorado was so irrelevant before Deion got there, and
he can put you on the map in a lot of ways that the others would not.
Won a lot of I'm not arguing with you. You zip it over there. You zip it.
I wanted to say Cignetti so bad, but then I thought he's been at Indiana for like 15 games or 16 games, 17 games, whatever, and I don't know. I mean, the guy obviously has proven it at other levels, and would be a good answer there. But DeBoer's got more of a sample size, and like what's going on with him, and like the reason that he's being criticized at Alabama, like is not relevant to what you'd be dealing with if he was starting a program.
No, it's because they're nuts.
So it begs the question, Mitch. Why do you think? And maybe it's just in this fan base, but I bet it's not. I bet it's other schools that want to have a comeback story. Why do you think Coach Cignetti is held as the barometer of, see, it can be done? Yet that wasn't the coach that you picked. Like, what's the juxtaposition there for you in terms of being the barometer?
The only reason I didn't pick him is because I think DeBoer is so good, and you see what he did at his other stops, and he's done it for a longer period of time, kind of. I mean, I guess they both were at smaller levels, but he's been at multiple power schools and whatever. It could have gone either way. I think the reason that Cignetti is always held up like that is because he's done it so fast. And Indiana was a mess 2 years ago. And when Cignetti took the stage at the Big Ten championship game in 2023, and he'd just been hired, and it was in Indy, and he drove up the road and he said, "We'll see you here next year with my guys." Everybody, like 100% of the people, maybe 99, like the guys, maybe people who had worked for him were like, yeah, it might happen. But everybody else was like, man, that's a joke. Like, this guy needs to get a lesson in what it's going to be like to pay your dues in the Big Ten. And then he went out and turned the tables and said, no, I'm the one who's going to be teaching you the lesson about what it's like to play against Curt Cignetti. And he's doing it again this year. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't a flash in the pan. So that's why people are holding him up as the example of why can't this happen at my school? Because it's happening at Indiana, which cannot have an advantage with resources or whatever it might be that is enabling Curt Cignetti to have success. Like, if you're coaching at like 12 or 13, or if you're a fan at like 12 or 13 or 14 of the Big Ten schools out there that are not Indiana, you justifiably believe that your school has an advantage over the Hoosiers in football, and yet he's the one out there beating top 10 teams 63-10.
Okay, so we had some musical lessons, and I feel like it's my fiduciary responsibility, Mitch, to make sure that our listeners are well-rounded. So earlier with Brian Christopherson, I used a reference of a band called The Flies. Around in the 90s, they sang this song, Got You Where I Want You. I'm going to fast forward to 2024, 2025. There's a rapper. His name is Gunna, Gunna. Grammatically incorrect, but it works for him. He sings a song called One of One. It's WUN of one, ONE. Is your opinion, when we use the barometer of Curt Cignetti, is he one of one in 2025?
That was a long route. GP. That was a long route to get to that question.
I saw that circuitous.
We needed to include Gunna in that question.
I just wanted to hear you say. Look, shout out to me.
Also known as Gunna.
I just wanted to hear you say it, and you nailed it. That's why we get along.
I'm looking at his Wikipedia entry here. Otherwise, I might have had some trouble.
Fast sniper, Jiminy Christmas.
Wasn't that hard?
Is he one of one?
I don't see anybody else doing it.
Well, you picked DeBoer.
So you didn't ask me who was best positioned to turn around a struggling Big Ten program.
My man hit me with so. And
you asked me about starting a program from scratch, and Cignetti would have been a good answer too. But like, maybe his specialty is going to places like Indiana and taking them out of the dust and turning them into national contenders. And DeBoer would be better at starting something from scratch. I don't know. I had like 10 seconds to think about the answer. It wasn't a scientific thing. No. But yeah, I do. I don't think there's a lot of guys out there who could. He's got the perfect mix of like borderline. Well, it's not even borderline.
Not borderline.
It's arrogance.
Listen, Mitch, stay right there. Is this a situation when we use him as a benchmark? Do you see this style playing at Notre Dame or Ohio State or Michigan or Nebraska? Okay.
It's not going to be a situation where, first of all, those schools are not in the spot that Indiana was in when he was the perfect guy for Indiana. Like it's like Fleck was the right guy for Minnesota to do what he's done there.
I just asked the perfect guy
for
Indiana.
I
like logic, right?
I don't think that if Ryan Day left tomorrow to go coach in the NFL, I don't think Ohio State is going to be asking itself, how do we find the next Curt Cignetti? Like that's not the route for everyone.
Mitch,
much like Gunna, I took the roundabout way because I want everybody to think for themselves, right? It's just we pick him as the low-hanging fruit, and we're afraid to say he might just be the perfect guy for that job. Doesn't make him the barometer or the benchmark or the perfect guy for every job. But we sure do go to the Rolodex when we want to like see it can be. And I'm like, you guys are comparing apples to oranges. And it's not to discredit him, but sometimes timing and situation absolutely matter, don't they?
Yeah, sir. I'm reading about Gunna here.
I love it.
Interesting backstory, but sorry.
Mitch, that's why I gravitated towards you and him. He's got an interesting backstory, and you're willing to investigate, which when you think like that, we can get along.
Sure.
My man.
Sure. Cignetti going to Iowa. I don't know what your question was, but he's going to Iowa this Saturday, and I'm intrigued. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch every.
That's a tell-all game.
Listen,
there's three of those in the Big Ten, and I want you to rank them. Okay, you ready? So we got Indiana going to Iowa,
Illinois, USC.
Illinois going to USC, ding-a-ling. And how about this one? I'm not even going to
Ohio State, Washington?
Yes.
Boom.
Ohio State, Washington. I'm not going to give you Oregon's. He works with me, so don't give him any credit for being right, Mitch. But I picked those 3 games for a reason. Rank the 3. If you were just going to say, that's interesting, tell me more.
I will put it's a battle for number 2 here, because for me, Indiana, Iowa is the most interesting. Like the contrast of styles and like what is contrast? What am I like British? Like
no, because you'd be overrated like the Beatles, and you're not overrated. Wait.
Ferentz against Cignetti is like great TV. So I want to see that. That's number 1.
I still would take Kirk in a fight, even though Cignetti like comes.
Oh yeah,
that bravado.
Oh yeah, you don't mess with Kirk.
I'm
absolutely
dead
not.
I agree with you. We probably underestimate Cignetti though, like in every other aspect of evaluating him. And then I'm putting Ohio State at Washington as the number 2 because it's Sayan's first time going out into a Big Ten environment. And I mean, he played Texas, so he's seen a good defense, but they're just off my radar, and they probably shouldn't be. Like great QB running back combo. And I don't know. I just like perpetually underestimate or overlook Washington as a member of the Big Ten. Like Oregon sucks all the air out of that part of the geographic part of the conference. And I probably shouldn't. Like, I think that could be an interesting game. So I'm intrigued by that game. USC, Illinois, not as much. I think USC. Is that game in LA?
Listen, no, it's in Champaign.
Okay, that's a little bit more interesting there.
I think, listen, man, Brett's going to bounce back. Old B2 has got something waiting for the Trojans.
Sure, but I think that Lincoln Riley's got to be watching that film of what Indiana did and is going, okay, there's some things we can expose there. And I know
the game was kind of wonky. Did you go back? That Indiana-Illinois game was kind of wonky.
All I need to know is that it was 63-10. Like, it can't be that. It was like, well, they were a play or 2 away. No, they weren't. No, they were not.
So it wasn't that like there was a rainbow and a couple of cumulus clouds happened at like the right. It wasn't that. No, okay.
Probably not.
No, all right.
I think USC will take care of business in
Here's
that game.
what I find fascinating about that game, though, Mitch, because I think my order would be USC, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and then Ohio State, Washington last, probably. Although I don't think it's a huge gap between all 3 of them.
So you're really interested in USC at Illinois?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
Because I have this thing in my mind that teams that play like Illinois give USC particularly trouble, and I want to see if that's
like that.
Discipline, physical, kind of like really hard, like a typical Big Ten team.
And Mitch is saying, did you not see how athleticism this was?
I take Indiana and I put it over here because none of their scores ever make any sense to me compared to what everything else happens in the Big Ten. None of it makes any sense to me.
I'm definitely jaded in my evaluation there by what happened to Illinois last week, and it just
Sure.
it makes it less intriguing. But you have to take it on a week by week basis. Like what the Indiana game matters very little. I mean, Bielema, you do know one thing you do know about him as the guy that he is he's going to get them to put that behind them, and they'll be ready to play on Saturday. But all that said, I think the other two games are better.
So, okay, that's fair. Where in the pantheon of the national scope, are you starting with Oregon and Penn State as the obvious choice because of where they're ranked? Or is there something else that's happening this week where you're like, I think that may be a better barometer?
Well, let me see.
You got
What's happening
Alabama,
this week?
Georgia.
That's interesting.
That's right at the same time as Oregon, Penn State.
That's clearly the best game that's not in the Big Ten. It's a great weekend in the Big Ten, even with 6 teams who are off. I mean,
Hey,
LSU.
the Big 12.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The Big 12 is sensational too.
I'm sorry. LSU Ole Miss has got some.
That's got some juice.
Has got some storylines. It's got some storylines that are really interesting.
Are you all in or all out on Nussmeier?
Oh, I don't think he's been very good. I mean, that's not like a bold statement.
It's crazy, right? All these quarterbacks that were kind of the anointed. Remember how this draft was going to be like, knock it off. Knock it off. Okay. This draft was going to be like this derby for quarterbacks, and now it's like, huh.
Who would you even take?
I don't know.
Like, who would you
I
even
don't
take?
really like Klubnik. Sellers is iffy. Nussmeier still has his. It's funny how the narrative can change in a hurry.
Mayaba's what's he like on the?
I don't know.
He's been statistically the best quarterback in the country.
No, and I agree with you. Although if you get it,
but that's a Lincoln Riley creation. Although Lincoln Riley created Caleb Williams
analytically,
Baker
with
Mayfield
advanced stats, Dylan and Mayava are right there. And I know Nebraska fans don't want to hear that because we love hating on Dylan sometimes as a minority population base. I said minority. Stupid. I'm not saying everybody.
It is stupid, Mitch.
It was just
it's
weird
really
how we talked about Raiola after that game. It's just the least of my concern. But